Ciao a tutti. My name is Mauro. This podcast, Caffè Sicilia, was written in Italian and Portuguese by Giovanna Loiacono, which is my wife and which is Sicilian. We thought it was a good idea to try to translate it into English. I am proud to present it to you. This podcast lasts only 10 minutes, dedicated to you on topics that we consider interesting and in some way linked to our Sicily, the land where we live. So, what is this podcast about? Is it a diary? Is it about typical Sicilian recipes? Indications about beautiful and unknown Sicilian spots? Current events and news concerning Sicily? Well, we'd like to do all these things. First, for those of you who might have not yet been here, we'd like to describe the place where we live. We live in eastern Sicily, in the ancient city of Catania. I know what you are thinking, and I agree. Sicily is a place in Italy where everyone can truly feel at home. Catania is a city full of life by the sea. From her beach, you can appreciate the view of the Mount Etna, a montagna, which is a partner in life for all Sicilians and the highest active volcano in Europe. The city is divided in several districts. In my opinion, the most representative with its chiaroscuro history is San Berillo's, which we discovered by chance a few days ago. You access it from a hidden, anonymous narrow street, Via Martinez. We took a sandwich near Piazza Teatro Massimo, the square of the Theatre Massimo Bellini, and walking and eating, we simply decided to turn right at a certain point. A flowered balcony suddenly appeared in sight. In the upper part, we read San Berillo district. Keeping on walking, we arrived at the suggestive Piazza Goliarda Sapienza. Goliarda Sapienza was an actress and writer from Catania. San Berillo nurtured her when she was born in 1924. Her parents were not married, which was an unusual and socially unacceptable condition in Sicily at that time. Anarchists and intellectually free, their parents educated Goliarda in the convinced affirmation to care about happiness above all things, in pursuing one's own inclinations without considering the social rules, those that everyone followed, in a place where social rules used to be pretty strict. And so, Goliarda and San Berillo share this unconventional, somehow extraordinary character. And they both somehow showed the same desire to be reborn again after living a long period of misery. Just like the San Berillo district, Goliarda experienced a dark time when she was so poor that she found herself forced to steal and betray a friend, whose jewels she took away to sell and buy some food. She was caught and she spent some time in prison. This experience was illuminating for her. This same square, which is now named after her, now restored and remodeled, has walked a similar path. She has a cheeky, curious, impatient beauty. Like Modesta, the main character of the Goliarda Sapienza's most famous book, The Art of Joy. This book had to wait years, abandoned in a garret, before being discovered and loved. A bit like the square for us that very night. We discovered it after living in Catania for so many years. Inside an Art Nouveau iron door, we stopped for a moment to observe ancient ceramic floors of the time. And we decided that we were up for a drink. Giovanna tried a Moscow Mule, her first and tasty Moscow Mule. We wondered about the history of this district, and we found out its story through the website dedicated to the district, Comitato San Berillo, made by its residents. So, that's the story, made short. In February 1957, as part of an urban regeneration plan, the City Hall decided to demolish the district to make room for a more modern neighborhood. Although the demolition started, the plan was never accomplished. This caused a wound on the face of the city, leaving a still visible void on its urban fabric, and a dispute between the private owners of the areas and the City Hall. The 30,000 district's residents were literally deported to peripheral areas. Luckily enough, due to the proverbial inability of Sicilians to complete projects, there is at least a small square of the old quarter left. No one remembered anymore the theatres and the craftsmen who stood between the port and the train station. The district was abandoned, and it was known for harboring homeless people and sex workers. An owner told us how every apartment left standing in Via Pistone was a casa d'appuntamenti, a place for paid sex. In the 90s, San Berillo was nicknamed by people passing by the Kingdom to underline its characteristics as an independent nature from the rest of the city, a sort of free port of collective morality. A truly sui generis place where dirt, decay, exploitation, violence coexisted every night, when its doors opened and men wander in the dark through those narrow and decaying alleys. Giovanna still remembers when she and her friends, as kids, fresh of their driving license at the time, drove along Via delle Finanze, just to get an exciting and prohibited glimpse of the half-naked girls winking passers-by from the door. They loved that thrilling emotion, which also involved the risk of being yelled at and kicked out from the district. That is why they always went there by car. Today she thinks of all this with a whole different mind. Who knows how much life there was on those streets, how many mothers trying to survive. Then, in 2001, a police raid, American movie style, put an end to the kingdom. The brothel district remained empty, but some women and some trans people, especially those who had their own homes there, continue to practice their profession. Today, it is possible to appreciate its decadent beauty, wandering among buildings of different eras, often unfinished or no longer rebuilt after the war, and the alleys enriched by street art, like the murals of Piazza delle Belle, literally Square of the Beauties, today a place where young Catanese gather. In San Berillo, we witnessed the coexistence of sacred and profane, the desire to embrace and not exclude, to make live and not disappear. Although the San Berillo district has been almost completely destroyed to make room for the idea of the large avenue that would make Catania the Milan of southern Italy, it remains the heart of the city. With great pleasure, I presented this little piece of our city to you. I can't wait to go back for a drink in Piazza Goliarda Sapienza. Catania is a city to be always discovered, even for those who have lived there for a long time. This episode has ended, but we still have a lot to tell you. If you enjoyed listening to me, keep following the next episodes. Don't forget to leave a comment on the Facebook page link in the episode description. The song at the beginning and at the end of the episode is called Scialamento, and was kindly conceded by Mario Rizzo, whom I sincerely thank. Arrivederci.